be competing and being able to go out in front of friends, family, and everyone.
Opening duel of the year, you had a little bit of a slow start in the first period, then picked it up in the second. Not the case today. You got right out and rolling. How does it feel to get out, get on top, and that pop arm that you've been doing, that seems to really be working. Tell me a little bit about that technique and what you do with that.
Yeah, for sure. Flynn has been on me a little bit about being on top. I've kind of just been riding and not as much turning, and he's been really emphasizing turning, getting back points, and pinning. So that's what I've been trying to do.
It is, and you've been scoring a lot of points for us. Thank you, Ty.
Yes,
congrats.
Sir.
All right, Jarrett there with Ty Waters. Again, off to a great start, healthy and back, and looking for big things in the Big 12 and nationally this year. 165, Shawn Taylor for the Mountaineers. David Pento, another freshman in the lineup for Glenville State.
Well, okay, so everybody, Ty Waters, great, is a fourth in the national tournament, and he just said, hey, my coach has really been on me to score more on top and pin people, right? And because that's another aspect that separates you from other people that you're going to be wrestling. If you can end a match faster, if you're the guy who wins on top and you wrestle up one period instead of having to go through 7 minutes, especially in a tournament, that's a big deal. Aside from the team points and all that kind of stuff, right? Then you get known as a pinner. Nice job by Taylor and just running him down and pinching his knees together and driving him for that takedown.
Pento appeared to be free, and as you said, Taylor just ran him down there. Right at the edge. Now trying to stay in bounds.
I'll take him out.
Great pursuit.
Well, he got himself in a good spot, and then he just kept driving, and got himself a nice takedown.
Kept him in bounds and got the points. Now we're waiting for the restart. 1:07 left in the first period.
It's a little like a form tackle in football, right? I mean, you got to keep driving until he goes down the mat, and then keep driving all the way through.
Good shot there by Pento as he countered quickly.
Looking for that cradle. Taylor does a nice job of separating that and turning, facing him, and getting his leg back.
Taylor heavy on that elbow from that front headlock from Pento, able to get a stalemate.
Well, and that's what happens when you're in that front headlock. You get your elbow too deep. I mean, that's what everybody's looking for, right? Grab your elbow and yank it down so that you can't do things with leverage and try to be able to turn the corner very well. And so when you're doing the front headlock, you got to try to keep your elbow out as much as you possibly can.
Pento finished that sequence there blind. He had his strap down come over his eyes, and the whistle allowed him to readjust that and get the headgear back in place.
It's funny because when you're actually in those situations, seeing really isn't that valuable. I mean, it's a lot of feel, and that's what you're looking at for the most part. So, for example, if you think that, even in a lot of takedown stuff, if you think that I have to see it before I do it, it's too late, especially at this level, right? I have to have a feel that something's going to be where it is based on body movements and things along those lines, pressures, angles. Otherwise, you're not going to score.
First period, 3-1 lead for Shawn Taylor, the only offensive points of that first period. Again, pursuit along the boundary there, and he got that takedown.
Well, and let's face it, as good as Shawn Taylor was coming out of high school, he was going to spend last year behind Peyton Hall, right? I mean, so it doesn't really matter. But I hope one thing that he learned from all that is again about having offense, is about being attack-oriented, being in good position and being able to attack. And that separates you, especially at this level. Right now, he's been letting Pento be on the attack the last couple of the times. He's done a nice job of fighting things off.
He's got that shin whizzer. Pento went to limp arm, but Taylor's doing a nice job that every time you could see it in the escape that he gave up, and then also his escape. He's in on a quick shot here. Leg between, finish it as he cuts back. He has not taken his hands off of Pento barely at all this match. He is completely in his face. Whenever he cut out to get an escape, his hands were immediately back on. Whenever he gave up an escape, he never kept his hands off of him. Just like Kyle, you're saying, it's that relentless pursuit that we're seeing all match.
Under a minute to go here in the second. Couple of takedowns for Shawn Taylor, one in the first period, one here in the second. And now doing some work on top.
Taylor going back to what we just talked about with Ty Waters. This is a very common theme that we're seeing out of this West Virginia team, seen it in the duels already this year. That one-on-one that they're working the pop arm in and all of the offense that you can create off of that. It's an uncomfortable position for that bottom wrestler. I mean, whenever your arm is bent backwards, like tied to your back with all of that pressure on, that is really, really tough stuff from top.
Taylor's built the ride time up to where it's a factor as we head for the third period.
This is just a nice job of after coming out of this shot that Pento had just taken and doing a nice high crotch and really staying in good position, yanking things, trying to keep him off balance, and eventually sits him down and gets that three-point takedown.
So Taylor has the only offensive points of this match here. Again, a takedown in each of the first two periods. Try and finish strong. Mountaineers up 22-0 on Glenville State. Still to come, matchups with Princeton, who, as we speak, Princeton beating Appalachian State 15-3. Mountaineers will wrestle both Princeton and Appalachian State this afternoon.
So there's a good chance Pento gets warned for stalling, even though he is the one behind. Why? Because Taylor's the one taking Matt up, and every time there's a fake, Pento is the one kind of sliding backwards most of the time. Although they very rarely call a neutral position, call the guy who's behind for stalling. Right now he's got double unders.
Glenville been very effective on their feet with those underhooks in the underhook series. You know, that's tough to wrestle, you know, especially when Shawn Taylor, it looks like, you know, a guy who's scoring from space a lot. You know, those underhooks, he then adjusts and gets a takedown from the inside tie. But there it is again. He sits him right back immediately to get the takedown.
Going to let him up and go after him again.
Yeah, try to score again. One in the first, one in the second, one in the third for Taylor. And defended the shot well, right back in an offensive position. And there's the fourth takedown.
Just a nice job, and now cranking it up a little bit, showing some offense, getting a little better feel for being out on the mat somewhat. You know, again, spent a whole last year not really wrestling much, right? And so got an opportunity to get back in the flow of things. Wrestling in the room is one thing, but going out and wrestling live in these matches is something different.
Shawn Taylor victorious here at 165 pounds. He was 13-5 a year ago and off to a good start as he takes over at 165, where Peyton Hall was last year.